Susan, what's going on?
Well, I wanted to give my choices as to what will happen today in the primaries.
Absolutely. Before you do that, Susan, can I get your reaction to the raid in Mar-a-Lago?
Well, I think what the scariest thing is that either one of two things that the Democrats are pushing. Number one, they obviously would like to get him out of the presidential race in 2024. That's, I guess, actually three things. I think two, they are pushing the people who support him, who've remained with him, who are strong Trump supporters, to create such explosive feelings that they may do something wrong, do something that they can really go after their supporters for. In other words, pushing them, it's a squeeze play. How mad can we make you that we did this to your guy?
Yep.
And then they do something and then they really go after him. And three, which is probably the scariest thing of all, is if they can do this to this man who's supposedly the Teflon Don, what could they do to me?
No kidding.
And any of those three things are dangerous.
No kidding. I think you're especially right. I mean, we've talked to Jim Jordan about this, who mentioned that the field offices in every state, including Connecticut, have been mobilized to scrutinize parents. Well, can you imagine instigators, federal instigators now in Board of Ed meetings, in town meetings, etc., especially, or Republican town meetings, really, Republican committee meetings, just saying, trying to spur on agitation, as you were saying there, it seems to be the template that these feds use.
Well, they don't care anymore what they do. They feel they can get away with it. Don't forget, they raped the sand trap over Holder and Fast and Furious. They did it with anything they tried to do with Trump in Russia, and then we came back. Biden's having mental problems. We know he's not feeling well if he's saying things like, I really wanted to drive this Corvette car, but as vice president, they won't let me.
Right.
Why don't we get some reading on him? Every time they have a problem with their side, they can't get rid of Hunter Biden's. What can we do with his laptop? Oh, don't worry about it. That's no problem. What about he and his father working together and, making money with people and trying? Don't worry about it. They rake that over, but at the same time, they attack. So, very dangerous, all three things. I have actual physical fear for President Trump. I mean, who knows how far they'll go.
Yeah. All right. Well, Susan, I had asked you to please return to us with your endorsements, and today is primary election day. Go right ahead.
Okay. Well, very quickly, on Secretary of State, I think I have known Terry Wood. I've met her along the way on my RTC tour, and started with Dominic, actually, the first one that we did together. I think they are both very great candidates. I don't think we'd lose with either one, but I have seen Dominic. He has been hitting the pavement day after day, every place he can. I think he's in it to win it. I think he is a dedicated man who's the right one. So that's who I voted for. And but Terry Wood did a great job on sending out mailers. I got her mailers as a marketing person. She hit all the points people wanted to see. So they both did a great job. Dominic's my choice.
So, do you like Rapini's his philosophical breakdown, or in policy stance, or that he's more likely to beat his opponent?
Well, that's an interesting question. I think probably his dedication. He's been in corporate life his entire life. Apparently, he was top Apple salesman of the year either several times or this past year or whatever. I was in corporate life, and I know what you have to do to stay. And if you don't do 100% of your assigned duties 150% of the time and do them well, you get axed. That tells me this guy knows how to win. And whatever he has to do to go against his opponent or his, someone has referred to him as a used car salesman, fine. Who cares? Style. Just get it done, and he's a get-it-done kind of guy.
Very good. There you go.
Yeah. So with regard to the U.S. Senate race, very quickly, I think Peter Lamage is a good guy. I mean, he's been in the ring a few times. He ran for governor in 2018. He ran for the Secretary of State in 2014. And he ran for the U.S. Senate in 2012. I think he's hung in. And sometimes it's harder to hang in when you haven't won something than it is. So I think he's dedicated to that. Leora disappointed me in the debate. I thought Peter,
I'm hearing a lot of that.
She got nervous, whatever. She has good TV commercials. And because of the debate, I was kind of like, is she going to be able to do this? But then she had a couple of other interviews, and she did very well. I think she's hit the nail on the head. What will the Trump factor do? It could play for her or against her, but I voted for Leora, quite honestly. And Themis is a choice by the GOP and State Central. I kind of wonder why she went after the governor's race. Then she backed out of the governor's race. And then she chose U.S. Senate. I think it's because she was going to get the endorsement promised to her by the GOP. Is she a favorite? There are many people that go, Themis can do the job. The question we get to that's always asked, who can beat Blumenthal? So I'm not sure that any one of the three can, but I think Leora is very dedicated to the contrast. We need a contrast. What is Blumenthal? What is his profile? What is the person who's opposing him? Look at their profile. I honestly believe that there will be a bump for Leora because of the Trump endorsement.
It certainly feels, and I'm not going off of any polling, it just feels anecdotally, and I'll just say from phone calls, like Leora has had momentum in the last couple of weeks, certainly since the Trump thing last week. But does she and Leon and Lamage, do they split their constituency?
Yeah, that's a possibility. I've heard a lot of people, hi, I voted for Lamage, hi, I voted for Levy. Yeah, that's a possibility. But I think that maybe that's the shade difference. The Trump thing for her versus Lamage doesn't have that. Even though, they're both conservatives, but the Trump endorsement, I think, will help her. Now, a couple of other interesting things about Themis. Apparently, this is from Kevin Rennie Ruction's article on July 15th. Stefanowski donated $5,800 to Levy's campaign and $4,000 to Lamage's campaign. Did not give any money to Themis. He also was not interested in having her as lieutenant governor. So there's some issue there, whatever that is, but that's an interesting thought. And if Themis does win, will the Republicans stick together and will Bob back Themis?
That is so interesting because you figured that stylistically he's more compatible with Themis than the other two.
Well, moderates, sure.
Yeah.
And so is that to balance things out? We don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure that Kevin Rennie knows, but there's some icy relationship between him, Aunt Bob, and Themis, and her Greg Butler husband. So, and a lot of people are going, yeah, I'm voting for Themis, but. And as soon as I hear the but department, that, it's waffling. The biggest problem we have is how many people are turning out to vote today.
Yeah, well, it's supposed to be low.
I don't know who's running. I know that, but I don't know this. That worries me.
That worries me too. As a matter of fact, between our own station and another talk station, it's once again anecdotal, but I don't like that these people who've been listening to AM Talk don't know who to vote for and may not be educated on the candidates at this point.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I do constantly. I hold my fingers to the wind. I go all over the place. I strike up conversations with people, and I'll say to them, "Do you like our current governor?" Yeah, that's and they're reaching for who the current governor is. Then I go, "Are you going to vote?" "Oh, when are we supposed to vote? Is that in November?" No, the primary. And then I give them a little background. Oh, who is it? Themis? What was her last name? What did she do? A lot of people just out of it. Now, if that's registered Republican voters, where are the unaffiliated? They just don't care anymore. It's like, I'm not even going to bother. This is very scary because this is how we end up right back where we were doing the same thing the same way with the same people. And I'm very concerned about that because we really need to get some other people in here who are doing things differently.
Right. And Lamont is, politically to his credit, it's very cynical, but he's shooting cash all around the state.
Oh, Christmas gifts to both sides.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely, yeah. And who can blame him? You know, obviously he wants to run again.
Yeah.
He's had his own scandals, but those scandals aren't going to catch up with him in time for this. I think all that is, again, they're going to be raking the sand trap, you know. But what will make a difference is the Biden effect on Blumenthal. They're both Democrats, and if you really are concerned about what Biden is doing, you really should be concerned about what all the Democrats are doing, including Blumenthal. So maybe Blumenthal will shoot himself in the foot despite how much money he's got to spend.
I mean, he's tied himself to this Inflation Reduction Act, Susan, which is a total disaster.
Yeah,
it's a total mess. And if we go into a recession before the election, then I think that it could possibly hurt him, because this is a total useless. Prescription drug prices are going to go up. You know, taxes are going to go up. Yes, he did it. You know, all it is the act to show that Democrats can get stuff done act, but it's completely poisonous.
Yes, yeah. Well, people are, I mean, as we should be concerned for people on fixed incomes, people who are in the lower middle income. I mean, they're all going to slip and fall to the poor. And quite honestly, if we continue in this, I mean, I think we're already over the falls, and we're rolling down river now. But if we don't grasp this thing, and we also need the legislature to change, because no matter who's governor, even if Lamont wanted to do something good, or Bob gets in there and he wants to change things around, if you don't have the headwinds with you, with legislature folks helping you, you're just going to be batting your head against the wall, unless you want to revert to executive orders and start telling people this is what's going to happen.
No kidding. The monkeypox emergency executive orders are going to start anytime now. Susan, anything else?
I think that's pretty much it. Always delighted to be able to talk to you. And I just want to say one more thing. Benjamin Franklin said, better well done than well said. So if you don't like what Trump and the way he talks, think about where we were when he was still president. He got things done.
That's exactly right. We didn't have a proxy war in Ukraine, costing billions and billions of dollars of taxpayers' money.
Oil problems. We had border wall, and so forth. So I think things were better there. If you don't like his demeanor, fine. But he got things done, and Ben Franklin said, better well done than well said.
Here, here. Susan Petrocelli Regan, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Great as always. Take care.
All right. You take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.